How you doing, YouTubers? Here's my issue. I have a DJI Mavic Mini and my older smartphone fit in this section pretty good. But I got a different smartphone and it's way too big, as you can see. So I ordered another piece of equipment that does fit in here, and it's expandable. But do I really want to take this phone and put pressure on it this way? It's against the fold. And the answer is no. Because there's quite a bit of spring pressure on here. And not only that is, there's this, the hinge cover on the back. It pushes against that so it doesn't sit flush. So my thought is, okay, I've got the Fold 2 and I want to put this in here and then make something that's protective so that I can put this in here without getting any pressure on it, and it'll hold it well. So that's where I'm going today. After looking through just about everything I have around, this is the closest thing I found for the size of my phone. You'll see what I'm talking about. So what I did was I looked around, laid my phone down, and I thought, yeah, it'll fit. This is just a little bit bigger, as you can see. It's got enough of a border around it. It works. It doesn't want to. Oh, this is an expired food product here, so like I'm losing anything out here. And what I'll do is we'll just save the inside bag out of it. Okay, so now we have the outline. All right, so still sealed, and thickness wise, it'll allow for enough of a depth, kind of for this to sit in it. You know, it only goes down to about here. So whatever I put in there, as long as I have enough of a thickness, it'll work. Scoring along the lines of the outside of the phone, I'm not going to worry about the cut ends, because we're just more concerned about the outside diameter of the phone, because that's the way it's going to fit. It won't necessarily fit in the way that I laid it down to trace it because of the hinge, but if I just cut with the outside diameter, I think I'll get it pretty close. I can always cut a little bit more off. Since I'm going to put some kind of a padded material in the bottom, I'm not really concerned about cutting it maybe a little bit large, because it'll still hold it in. Now when it comes to doing the corners, just get them done a little bit better. Let's do it a little bit slower. A dull blade's almost as bad as having too sharp of a blade. Cut yourself just as easy. There. Pretty sure the contents package is probably at least punctured once by now. Let's see. Okay, I can always make the corners a little nicer later. So, alright, there we have it. Okay, so got the cover off and it's open. Now what we'll end up doing is we're going to end up even opening this because I found some material. This packing material was in one of the items I have, and so I'd already cut off a small piece to see how well it was going to work. So I figured, oh wow, it's pretty close to the size, just to see how it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this out, and what I'll have to do is, because it's the thickness, the correct thickness that I need, I'm going to make some cuts, and then I'm going to open this up, and then we're going to have to close it when it's finished. So let me get to cutting on this. So let's see how big this is. That's a little bit too long right there. So I'm going to have to cut one side. I'll probably cut off this side right here. So mark it. Get that side lined up. You're going to have to give yourself a little leeway because you can't make it the same size as the box, otherwise it will never fit inside of there. So I'm going to do is cut it a little bit like that. And then it'll just be a little more cut on the inside rather than on the outside of my lines. This stuff's pretty good, pretty easy to cut. There's several layers in it, so I can feel when I go through a layer, and there's several more there below it. So what I can do is, some of the layers I went down with that. Then I can take the scissors, actually, probably and cut the rest through. I don't think the scissors like that very much. Worst case scenario, peel the layers off and just cut through down through the lower layers on the same line. That kind of sucks. I like these scissors. Yeah. Almost there. Okay. All right. So let's see how close we are on this. First, we're going to need to do is, I guess, open this box top. Got to be careful with it. Don't rip it open real bad, because we're going to have to reseal it when we're done. Because there's going to be, you know, this is where some of the strength is. That's going to be holding this thing together. Once this this packing is inside, then it should help hold the box together a little bit. careful with your fingers. There. That's not too bad. Okay. Now let's just make sure this thing actually fits in here. I don't want to put it in and out too many times because then we'll probably end up destroying the box. Just want to make sure it's going to fit in here and shut, which I think shutting might be a pain in the ass. Let's see. No, actually it'll shut. So now what we can do is, it's got the box ballooned open a little bit. We can just do ourselves a favor and just kind of do this. Okay, you can see where the box is at. Just mark the inside of it, just so we'll know where the lines are at, where the phone's going to be at. Okay. Come out really crappy. Did I think it was going to come out easy? I don't know. Probably easier than this. It's coming now. Ooh. That's the box. Okay. What I'll do is I'll probably take a little bit of this edge off around this. Cut some corners off a little bit. Okay. And cut down. Through some layers, but not all the way through, because the phone is not that thick. We don't want it to go all the way in. We want it to get seated in there, kind of float. So as we progress through here, you'll see. Probably end up cutting all these sides off and just leaving it back, but we'll see how it works. Let's flip these through a little bit so we don't have to try to rip out all of it at one time. So what I'm going to do is go through the first layer right there. Let's peel that off. That's what's nice about this material. It's actually some pretty good stuff. This material is from some landscape lights that I bought to replace the old 12-volt landscape lights by the driveway. So this stuff was just packed in each of the boxes to separate all the pieces, powder coated pieces, from beating the crap out of each other. And you can see this is not going to be it's not going to be deep enough yet, but since there is mine has this notch in the middle to protect the hinge, I'll do is I'll just mark it where it's at on the phone, and just a second. Now it's going to be probably this way, yeah. So mark the port for it. Now you can see that that's where the hinge goes. 2. I can go wider for the notch because it's just going to make room for part of the phone. There we go. Now let's see how this works. Pretty good, pretty good. But it still doesn't sit in there that well. Okay, what I did is I slid the piece back in, the foam piece back in here, just to see how the phone would fit. And I think it's going to work. So I think what I'll do is now I will continue with this, with it in the box, so I can work with it. So right now, hot glue gun, charge it up, or warm it up, and get this put back together. And we can do a little test fit and a clean up. So right now you can see the depth of, let's see how deep this is, and then I cut this a little bit deeper for the hinge. So as soon as this warms up the glue gun, I'll be back. Okay, gonna glue this thing back together. If my hot glue gun's not too hot, burn me, and enough on there and burn yourself. Try not to get it on the that foam filling, because that stuff just melts and keeps on melting. Doesn't the hot glue doesn't help it at all. That actually goes this way because of the way that cut the hinge. And in actuality, let's take this out and put this in there. I have some more ideas, so this isn't the end. Okay, so now the tension is on the box, not on the phone, and the phone is placed in here. Okay, that works fine. Now I've got to cut a hole on this side right here, because the port for plugging in the phone to the drone controller is right here. I'll come out that side. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe shave a little more off of this layer to get it down so it seats farther inside the box. So, because it just doesn't sit in there as far as I like it. I want it to go maybe one more layer down, and I think that would be fine. And if I take it one more layer down, that means this one is going to have to come down one more layer. So if I'm going to take a layer out, have to do is this. Just peel it out. Doesn't sit far enough in there, then if I tilt it too far, then it will definitely fall out. And that was this other one. It actually was about this wide for the hinge. This for the hinge. One for the hinge. Okay. This will be enough to give us a good indication of how it's going to fit. Oh yeah, way better. Fits right in there. Boom. No problems. And I can see where the port is at on the side, which is where this notch right here is at. So it will be right in this area right there. Okay, what I did was I put a hole for this cord to plug in through here. And then what I'm going to do is plug it into my phone and then slide it carefully into the holder. Okay, now we have liftoff. All right, so next thing we're going to do is change the look of our now new holder, something that looks a lot more formidable than a Pillsbury box. So let me get to work on that. Okay, metal tape. Can't get better than that. It's just the good stuff. So we're going to run this all on the outside of this. It'll help hold the box together and make it a lot better looking than just Pillsbury box. Here we are going cheap on it, but trying to at least make it look a little better. But functionality wise, it's got it. That's right. Why it cuts on one side, not the other? All right. metal tape. Short on that side. I'll fix it. What you can do is tuck this up underneath on this side. Just tuck it underneath there so it won't. It's not really rubbing on your phone because it's got plastic on it still. Okay, so now it's connected to my Mavic Mini, and it's ready to go, fully protected. And you can adjust it anywhere, no problems. Stable, no pressure on the phone. That's my intention.